Hello and welcome to 3231 Hayes Cleanout Project, end of March. This is the basement tour. As you can see, we are beginning at the steps right here, where we have the train platform that runs around the extent of the basement. And I apologize for the light, and I apologize if the video gets a little blurry. We did suffer a recent flooding down here, so some of the items at floor level are in not so great a shape. But as you can see, the very first thing that we've got all the way around the entrance, we've put all of the vacuum tubes. Tubes, and more tubes inside these shelves. A little hard to see, but there are some random objects around back there. Out here, I'll take my time slowly panning around here so you can see everything that we've got. I'm just gradually going to graze around the basement so that you can get a gauge on everything that we've got. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me about what we have here. What on earth is in here? These are more tubes. Okay. Old, bigger tubes. We've got some kind of strobe light looking thing. And VCR, I guess that is. There's an old speaker in that corner that you can't see because of the lighting. All of these tubes that are. The boxes are not so great because of the flood, but the tubes themselves are fine. Big tubes up here. Did I mention we have tubes? Yes, lots of tubes. Alright, I will get that from the other side where there's better light. The emphasis here is that most of what we've got in the basement is either electronic stuff for tinkers or it's scrap. There are a few select items that might be valuable to someone else. This is a very lovely alarm clock, for instance. But for the most part, we are not going to have things, empty cabinets here, that are going to be useful for anyone who is outside of that envelope. We've got the train platform out here. This needs to get broken down, or it needs to go to a lovely home if somebody thinks they have use for it. Speakers. Not much we can see down here. There really isn't much down there. It's just stuff. Okay, intercom, random things over here. We've got these shelves that have little odds and ends in them. For example, there's batteries in some of them. We'll get to more odds and ends later. We've got bags, speakers, amplifiers, whatever the heck else is over here. These are empty file cabinets. They used to have all of my dad's manuals in them. The manuals are available, so if you need or would like a manual, or you would like to take over my father's collection, there are tons and tons of manuals. They are upstairs, and I will show those to you, possibly in this video, possibly in a different one. Alright, let's head to the back. In the back here, we've got all kinds of hardware and supplies, paints and Rust-Oleum and you name it, spray can things. Spare sump pump. We've got electronic gizmos and gadgets. Yeah, I don't know what 90% of this stuff is, unfortunately, so hopefully you will recognize it on site. And then a lot of it is just parts and spare wood and other things that we can use. There's more train stuff. More train track, I should say. There is, you can't really see too well down there, but more spare wood. Over here on top, or behind the refrigerator, we've got all kinds of pole-related items, so yes, more scrap-type things. Our sump pump and our vacuum. Inside here, we've got, starting off at the top, some various radio stuff up here. Nothing particularly important up here. Pardon me while I use one hand. I believe this is non-functioning. It doesn't look like it's in great shape. We've got not a lot in here. Again, this radio I'm not confident is necessarily working. Most things in my dad's place are, but this might be the exception. It's going to be a little dark in this corner for whatever reason. The lights out here got disconnected, and I am honestly not sure how to reconnect them. The wiring in this house is bizarre. So I am just going to have to ask you to suffer through seeing all these boxes full of stuff that we don't know what's in them, because I'm not going to take the time during this video to open up each and every one of them. But rest assured, there are a lot of electronic-related things in here. I'll stand to the side so the window doesn't kill us too much here. But you can see there's lots of cords, some of which are regular power cords, some of which are more specialized computer-type stuff. The ones up there are more related to phone cable. We've got the cabinet down here, which has... Oh, that's really not good lighting at all, is it? So there's various tools in here. Over the water heater, more cables. There is an antenna rotor that is currently connected to the tower outside. And then we come to the workbench. Inside each of these shelves are parts. For instance, there are just a couple of them to open. Oops, that doesn't have anything in it. There are, I guess you can't see too well with this lighting, but there's resistors in the one, there's other very small electronic parts in the others. Excuse me. We have other doodads up here, nothing that I'm particularly excited about, but maybe you are. Again, the emphasis is that most of what we have here is tinkering and scrap. And it is all going to be going to the dumpster if you do not come claim it. So all of these screws are going to probably get tossed out. And all of these random bits of junk that were used for hosing and tubing and whatnot will go. I will probably hang on to the power tools because they're useful, but back here, and yes, we enter into another dark area. We've got these shoe boxes. I realize you can't see too well, but I'll read to you that some of these have pilot lights, Philco radio filters, multi-pin connectors, large knobs and dials, knobs, project boxes, pots, switches, just to name a few. These shoe boxes, if you will, all have stuff in them. We've got this wooden set of shelves here that is filled to the gill with all kinds of wall warts and power adapters. Similar with this shelving unit here, and then we've got more drawers full of more stuff. If I spin around, this blue shelf with the orange slats in the back has a lot of hardware in it. The drawers themselves, the shelving unit has been spoken for, but the items inside I do not believe I can make that claim. There are more things up here. I don't even know what's in these boxes. I don't know if I've looked at these. They all have some number K on them. What on earth are you? Does not mean anything to me, but maybe it'll mean something to you. Sorry. Can't help you. Not an electronics person. So there is a quick tour of some of the things out in this corner. As you can see, lots of cables, lots of various testing equipment, a power resistor, for example. We've got all kinds of scopes and dials and meters. Going back over here, down below the bench, we have more. I know the lighting sucks, but there is more in the way of parts for things. Up here, we have bits of hardware, more of the same that you've seen elsewhere. And coming around here, there's an old computer. Probably not anything exciting, but it's there. And some tools. And that basically completes our tour of the basement. I will very quickly whisk over to this back corner to point out it's here, even though the lighting is virtually non-existent. And I will just indicate that there are a few more items out here, and there are some items underneath the train platform, even though we really can't see them in this lighting. So that should conclude our tour of the basement. Thank you.